Stand-up paddleboarding, or SUP as it's known for short, is one of the coolest ways to enjoy the ocean or an inland waterway. You can explore really well, you can do it on your knees, you can stand up, it's a really graceful approach, you can even race on a stand-up paddleboard. Check out our beginner's guide, find out everything there is to know about stand-up paddleboarding.
Today we're going to talk about a few little things that we need when we're going out paddleboarding, how to actually paddleboard, and also a few biggest mistakes that people make when they're paddleboarding. So to start with, we're going to talk about the kit that we've got here. We've obviously got our paddleboard, we've got a paddle, and we've also got a buoyancy aid and a few other essential items that we need. It's really important when you're going out that you've always got a phone and you've got some kind of rope to help tow someone if you're going out on your own rather than with a guide. When you're with us, you're going to be in safe hands. Your instructor's got all of the important kit that you need. So next up, we're going to talk about our parts of the board. Our board here is an inflatable. We've got up the front here the nose of the board, and at the back we've got the tail. On the top we call this part the deck, and we've got a really important piece of kit. This is our leash. Our leash is going to be a quick release belt. It goes around your waist. When you grab this, all you're going to need to do is just pull this yellow tab right here, and then you're going to put it around your waist, just like an aeroplane seat belt. Goes through like this. You can tighten it up so it's nice and tight, and then just close it like that. If you need to release it in an emergency for whatever reason, you're just going to pull this tab here and it comes off straight away. We've also got our paddle. Here is the T-grip right up the top, and we've got the blade down here at the bottom and the shaft going up the middle. These are adjustable paddles, so we can adjust them to the right height setting for each person that we've got. When we jump on our paddle boards, what we're going to do is make sure that we're in the center of the board right here in the middle, and then we're going to hold on to the T-grip like this, and we're going to have our other hand knuckles facing upwards. When we're paddling, we want to make sure that the curve is going round this way. A lot of people think that we're going to paddle this way round, but really we want to make sure it's this way. A lot of our paddles have this nice symbol right here, and we want that part pointing towards us. So if it's your first time paddleboarding, or maybe you've done it before anyway, you're probably going to fall in today. It's good fun, don't be afraid of it. Okay, if you do fall in, you got your buoyancy aid on, you're just going to float, you're attached to your board, you come back up and you just jump straight back on again. It's all part of the experience. So if we have fallen off, it's important we try and keep hold of our paddle so it doesn't float away. They do float though. We're going to put it in between us and the board like this. We're going to put our hands on top of the deck with our feet out behind us, and then we're going to launch ourselves forwards, wedging our buoyancy aid onto the side of the board like this, making sure those hands are flat on the deck, and then we're going to do our best seal impression to try and get back up on the board, pushing up and then grabbing our knees on like this. We can grab our paddle and then we're ready to go. One of the biggest mistakes people make when they're trying to get back on the board like this is they grab the handle or they grab the rail down here on the side of the board, and all that does is it just flips it back over as you're trying to get on. So it's important that we're trying to stabilize the board by pushing it down with our hands as we're launching ourselves up like this. We're pushing up rather than pulling up. If you're out with a friend and you want to give them a hand back onto the board, the best way to do it is to bring your board up next to theirs. You can help stabilize this side here, grab their buoyancy aid strap and help pull them on. So something that we get commonly asked is what to do when the wind starts to get a little bit stronger. When we're paddling, if the wind does pick up, there's a few different things that we can do to help fight against the wind. One of them is to move forward slightly on the board. This keeps the weight a bit more on the nose, and it's going to help fight against the wind. The next step is to come down to your knees. This way we're more stable, there's less resistance against the wind, and we can get a bit more power going as well as we're paddling. And the last step, if you're still really struggling, is come all the way down to your belly, and you're going to paddle it like a surfboard. So to recap, a few of the biggest mistakes that beginners tend to make when they're coming out paddleboarding: when we're standing up, One of them is they lock their legs out like this. This is going to make you really wobbly. What we want to do is bend those knees, keep you nice and low, go with the motion of the ocean, okay? Keep it nice and steady. Another mistake that people make, the paddle, we spoke about this already. We want to make sure that the curve is going this way, not this way. It's going to make it a little bit more efficient while you're paddling around. Another one is our position on the board. If we're too far back, this is actually a really good technique for turning, but if we're too far back as we're paddling, we are going to zigzag as we go along. And if we're too far forwards, it's also going to be quite wobbly as well. So making sure that we're trying to stay in the center of the board here. And the last one, which we touched on just now, was getting back on the board. We really want to make sure that those hands are flat on the deck and we're not flipping the board over by grabbing the rails and pulling it over like this. Awesome. Gonna see you guys out there on the water having a good time soon.